wonderful time. What you doing, buddy?
I pulled this down and
just pull one at a time and see what happens.
it went down.
What happened?
It went down.
Can you bring it back up?
I can try.
Pretty cool, huh? Well guys, I mentioned on the last video that Howard was kind enough to bring me this really nice sink, and I want to turn it into a chicken processing sink, and this is the spot where we're going to put it. Now this is going to be nothing fancy. It's going to be crude and functional and like the rest of the shed, I suppose. Let's get started. So like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be really simple. I'm just going to run a 2x8 from this post to the other post, and then another 2x8 in front of all of this for the sink to sit down on, and I'll put some 2x4s across it to make a little table on the other side. And preferably what I'd like to do is kind of notch this out and make that 2x8 inset in there. That would make a super strong connection and it would look a little bit cleaner, but I want to make it to where I could remove the whole thing and there not be scars left over. And also that won't weaken this thing very much, but it would weaken it just a little bit, and I just don't really want to do that. So I'm going to go with the second option, which is clunkier, but I would be able to remove things and change things if I needed to, and that's just a ledger with the 2x8 right on top of that. So that's what we're going to do, and it actually doesn't go there, it goes much lower, so let's fix that. That will work. At this point, let's get that sink plumbed up. I don't really quite have the drain portion figured out, but I think I've got all the materials that I need to make a faucet on it. It's not going to be a standard faucet. I'll show you what I'm talking about, but let's get the water turned off and we'll see if we can get some water to it. Anytime I do any kind of outdoor plumbing on the channel, I have people just really kind of shocked in the comment section that my lines are buried so incredibly shallow. I mean, this is probably 4 inches or something like that. And the reason is we just don't need it here. It doesn't get particularly cold in the wintertime. And if it does get cold enough to threaten my outside lines, I just go turn the water off outside, and our cold weather streaks don't usually last very long. So, and the only reason that I turn the outside lines off is to protect the exposed pipes. The underground lines are always fine, even though they're buried this shallow. Last year we had 14 degrees here, and that's really rare. That is really rare. A lot of times it'll get down into the 20s, and that's really about it. And it doesn't stay there long. 30, 40, 50, those are our winters around here. That is really crooked. I think that's good enough for some chickens. My plan was to put another post on this corner right here to brace it up, but turns out this has ended up right directly above the water line. So what I'm going to do is put this little brace right here, and that'll be a little bit cleaner looking and should serve pretty much the same purpose. Pass the test. Must be clogged up with something. I bet it's clogged up with sawdust. Oh no. Well, I was trying to get off the easy way here, but it looks like I'm going to have to turn the water back off and take the spigot off. I don't think the camera's going to pick this up so good, but yeah, there's all kinds of sawdust in here, and the reason for that is when I was putting those pipes together at those joints, there's sawdust all out here in the sawmill shed, naturally, and that's just where it landed. So we'll get this stuff out, and we should be okay. No leaks here, no leaks there, none there, none there, none there, which is a miracle. I rarely can get those to not leak. I think we're good there too. But here is the next problem right here. I know a lot of y'all have probably been watching this thinking, what is he going to do about a drain? Well, I haven't quite figured that out yet. These threads in here are pretty messed up. They've been really torn up for years and years of use. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for a drain here. So that may be something we deal with in another video. What you been doing? You trying to stay cool? Well guys, that pretty well does it for the sink, except for the drainage issues here. I'm gonna have to figure out some way to get this water on out of here that's out of the way and doesn't cost an arm and a leg to install, because if I go all the way to the woods with a drain, I'm looking at buying quite a bit of pipe, and I really don't want to have to do that. So I'm gonna get creative, and it looks like maybe I can even take the drains out of here and replace them with new drains with new threads, because those threads are really messed up. I don't know. I'll try to figure something out. That's not a project for today, but I am really happy with it. It seems like a pretty good use of space. Most of the space that it takes up is just between these two poles here, which was kind of wasted space anyways. It only intrudes or protrudes or whatever into this bay of the shed by 14 inches. So I think I'll still be able to get the trailer back in here. It'll be a little bit tighter, but I think I can get the trailer back in here. So it's taking up very, very little space. It adds a table out here, and I'm just thrilled with it. I do want to get y'all's opinion on this sink. The sink itself, I'm sure that y'all saw, had quite a few chips on the ceramic, and if y'all know of a very good high quality product that'll permanently patch ceramic coated sinks like this, please leave that in the comment section. I really would like to patch this up and get it looking better and make it last a little bit longer as well. At this point in the video, my plan was to take one of those giant firewood rounds and split it up and see how many pieces of firewood we could get out of it. That's some of that water oak that my dad had cut down, and you saw earlier those are some massive rounds out of that tree. It's going to give me a whole lot of firewood, but it's kind of getting late, and we're going to church pretty soon, or we're going to our small group pretty soon rather, and what I would prefer to do instead is open up something that we got from our friends at Vevor, and I think this is an appropriate product for this setup, because I set this up for a meat processing spot, and our friends at Vevor sent us something that's going to be super helpful with meat processing. Let's go grab the box and tear into it and see what it looks like. Vevor likes to send me things in really big boxes, which I never complain about. Let's check out this whatever it is. It's going to be super useful. Oh goodness. You know, this is an impressive box. This is some really thick cardboard. They've got it pretty well protected. There's styrofoam on the inside and some super thick cardboard on the outside. I really appreciate that. Check it out, guys. It's industrial shower drains. Just kidding. I think these are the instructions. Boy, it's heavy. I'm sure most of you have probably figured it out by now, but it's a meat grinder. So this is one of Vevor's meat grinders that they were gracious enough to send me, and I'm really looking forward to using this not only on the pig, and we're planning on doing one of our pigs this year, but I also want to do some ground chicken. We've been eating ground chicken lately, and it's pretty good. We're surprised at how much we like it. But this model number is the PS10A, but I typed that in on their website, and I didn't get anything to come up that was related to sausage grinders. But this is the Vevor electric meat grinder, 331 pounds per hour. 1100 watts, plugs right into a 110 unit, a 110 wall unit. Comes with 4 of these plates right here, plus I believe there's one already installed for different consistencies of meat. You can make sausage with it. I believe this is for sausage. Comes with a plunger, of course, and this pan. But 331 pounds an hour, that is an incredible amount of meat for just somebody who wants to put some chickens in the freezer or a pig in the freezer or something like that. This would be great for deer. This would be great for all kinds of wild game if you're out west and you hunt elk or a very large game like that. Around here it's just deer. But it seems to be very well put together. It's very heavy, seems very solid, almost like a commercial type quality on it. A nice click to the switch. That's one of the things I always notice is how good does the switch click. I like a good click on the switch. But that's going to do it. That's about all I know about it. I have a lot to learn about grinding my own meat, and I'm looking forward to learning. This retails for $233.99, and I will leave a discount code down in the description. If you're a FLR viewer, I'll give you a code, and you can get, I think, 5% off. But I'll leave those details down below, plus a link to this. But big shout out to our friends at Vevor for sending this out, and very much looking forward to figuring out how to use it. I think the possibilities of meat production of different kinds of meat have just gone up exponentially around here, and I'm super proud and super happy to try this out. But that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.